All right, Shalom Akim. I'm Zahab of the GMS Mississippi Camp, Spirit Wind Judah, giving our honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Also giving double honor to the apostles of the great millstone who rule well. And I also want to say peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect. All right, today I want to go into a topic entitled Ben Ami, Israel Dies at 75, a leader of Black Hebrew movement. All right, and the reason why I want to go into this article is to prove that we're not going to go to Israel by our own finances, by Esau's transportation. All right, we're going to get delivered out of America and get transported back to Israel. Okay, and I'm just going to skip to the main points that I want to highlight. It says it's talking about Ben Amin's crusade to go to Israel. Over the next few decades, talking about Ben Amin, he built a community in Israel's harsh Negev desert that grew to 3,000 members. Despite difficult living conditions, repeated government efforts to expel them, and critic portrayals of the sex as a dangerous cult. So wait a minute, when he first arrived to Israel, he arrived in the desert. So let's see if that's consistent with the scriptures. All right. This is Ezekiel, the book of Ezekiel, chapter 36, verse 8. This is the Most High talking to the land of Israel literally. But ye, O mountains of Israel, you shall shoot forth your branches and yield your fruit to my people of Israel, for they are at hand to come. So the Most High is going to make the land of Israel blossom for the entrance of the Israelites, man. So why is this man, when he was on the planet Earth, why did he lead his people to a harsh desert with difficult living conditions and repeated government efforts to expel them and critic portrayals of the sex as a dangerous cult? All right, because that's a false prophet, man. Okay, but I'm gonna skip down to the point, and you brothers can read this article on your own time. Like I said, it's called Ben Ami Israel Dies at 75, a leader of Black Hebrew movement. Okay. All right, and I'm just gonna skip down to the point. By 1973, Israel had begun to deport groups of Black Hebrews, backed by an Israeli high court ruling that their claims of Hebrew ancestry were legally worthless. Later, the court declared that the Black Hebrews. But wait a minute, didn't it say in was it Hosea 1:10? And the land that is said, you are not my people, there should be said, you are the sons of the living God. So although that's talking about America, wouldn't that extend all the way to the other side of the world? If it's known in America, wouldn't it be known in the Middle East as well? They have televisions in the Middle East, all right? Later, the court declared that the Black Hebrews were a separate sect, distinct from Judaism and remote from the Jewish world and its heritage down the generations. Ben Israel fought back, accusing the government of racism, and later enlisted the support of prominent African Americans, including members of Congress who warned that Israel's actions could damage Black-Jewish relations. Everybody is saying that Jews return to the Holy Land, but there's no holiness here. Ben Israel told the Los Angeles Times in 1973, there's no holiness there because they're still in their kingdom, man. Yeah, you went to Israel, but you went to Israel while Esau was still in rulership, man. All right. The controversy continued through the 1980s with more deportations. You mean to tell me we're going to get deported from our land in the kingdom, man? The controversy continued through the 1980s with more deportations and allegations from former members of Ben Israel's flock that he was another Jim Jones, the People's Temple leader who has led a mass suicide in Guyana in 1978. They compare him to Jim Jones. American civil rights leader Bayard Rustin called Ben Israel a dictator after visiting the Black Hebrew settlement in the early 1980s to investigate charges that Israel was harassing African Americans entering the country. As more Black Hebrews were born in Israel and assimilated into the culture, however, relations with the government improved. In 1990, Israel granted them temporary resident status, enabling them to work legally. So you mean to tell me we're supposed to go all the way to the other side of the world, Israel, right now, to fight for citizenship? That's a servant class mentality. You mean to tell me we're going to fight to go to Israel so we can be workers? All right, is that in the scriptures? Okay. I'm going to skip down to the point. When Ben Israel received his blue Israeli identity card, he waved it in the air like a trophy. In 2013, almost a half century after he had launched his odyssey, he was granted citizenship. So we're going to fight to be citizens. We got to prove to a servant that we're equal, that we could and live in his land as servants. All right? That's not scriptural, man. All right? But I'm gonna continue on. This is Baruch 2 and 34. All right, based on being fighting for citizenship, man, fighting to be residents and workers, man. Let's see what it says in the scriptures, Baruch 2 and 34. And I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they should be lords of it. And I will increase them, and they should not diminish. So it didn't say we was going to be citizens with the devil there. It says we're going to be lords in that land, man. All right, I'm going to read this point in the article again. When Ben Israel received his blue Israeli identity card, he waved it in the air like a trophy. In 2013, almost a half century after he had launched his odyssey, he was granted citizenship. But it says here in Baruch, it says in Baruch Salat, that we're going to be lords of it. We're going to be lords of Israel. All right? Meaning we're going to rule that land, man. Not be no citizens, man. That's the servant class, civil rights spirit. They extended all the way to Israel, man. We fighting to be treated equal, man. Nah, I'm fighting the spirit to rule this planet Earth, man. Hey, but with that, I hope you brothers are edified. To the next lesson. Shalom.